Yo, what is going on, guys? Got an absolutely hilarious video for you here today. Apparently, all of the attractive men over on dating applications are completely destroying modern women. Exhibit A, guys, I have a series of video clips which I'm going to be showing you here today. But women have taken it upon themselves to jump online, starting with this woman, basically complaining that they can't get commitment. Okay, they have the bedroom fun, they hook up with the guy for a night or two, and then they're like, wait a minute, why are the men not pursuing relationships with me? What happened to the days of courting? What happened to the flowers? What happened to the dinner dates? Why is it that when I go out clubbing or meet a dude on a dating application and we hook up for, a couple of nights, why doesn't he pursue anything more? So let's jump right into it. As always, guys, don't forget to leave your own thoughts and your comments. And let's kick it off with this woman right here. The 5 stages of grief when he pulls away and goes ghost on you. Let's take a listen.
No, because I full on grieve a man when I have a great night with him and like we vibe, and I think that like it's going to turn into something at least like a date, and it doesn't, whether I sleep with him or not. And my stages of grief are actually like just fucking insane. And I starts pulling away and I feel the energy shift, which I'm never wrong with the energy shift.
Yeah, guys, she's never wrong with the energy shifts. She's got the energy shifts down pat. She understands them, whatever the hell that means. But there are so many videos like this. Let's unpack what the woman is saying here. She meets men on random nights out, and I'm also probably going to extend that to dating applications. She hooks up with them on the first night, and then she's complaining that she can't get relationships. This is what happens to a lot of modern women, by the way. They all make videos, well, not all of them make videos like this, but a very large amount of modern women will either make videos like this, or they'll be in the exact same situation that this woman is in. And they're hoping that it turns into something more. I gave my body to some random guy, but I'm kind of hoping that it goes somewhere. Let's keep going.
Like just fucking insane. And I starts pulling away and I feel the energy shift, which I'm never wrong with the energy shift. I get anxious attachment issues and I'm just having panic attacks every day. Like time moves so slowly, I'm just like waiting on him to like maybe text me back, maybe Snapchat me, open my Snapchat, like my world is actually ending.
Right, so she feels like her world is actually ending because this random dude that she just met won't text her back, won't reply to her messages, and so on. I mean, the simple solution to this would be to just, don't, and actually look at the kinds of men that you hook up with. Maybe don't hook up with dudes before you get a relationship out of them. But no, guys, we live in the current year, 2024, soon to be, 2025 near enough. And modern women still can't figure this out because apparently it's really empowering to go out there and hook up with random dudes. And if you say to them, hey, maybe you should have more self-respect, maybe you should actually consider yourself and your life path, then apparently if you say that, you're the one that doesn't like women. If you would prefer that women respect themselves, guys, and actually take care of themselves, then apparently that means that you're the one that doesn't like women. This is, again, why I don't give advice to women. I made this point in a recent video, guys. I'm sure I could make a TikTok account and, try and sell advice to women, probably even have some women purchase said advice. But the reason why I don't do that is because most of them will not listen. And I'm not out here trying to make modern women listen. And I think a lot of guys are really past that point as well. But let's keep going with the video.
Text me back, maybe Snapchat me, open my Snapchat, like my world is actually ending. My friends start to get me onto this, like, no, fuck him. Like, why are you even assuming he's a good guy? Like, you're just glorifying your night. Like, you both are probably just kind of drunk anyway. You are assuming that he's not a narcissist or a psychopath. Then I'm in this.
And there's the insulting language. Okay, so check this out. Man doesn't want to commit to a woman. What's the first thing that her friends always say? Oh, he's a narcissist, he's a terrible person, he's a psychopath. And we start throwing out all of these sorts of different insults because men don't want to have relationships with these women. We never ask ourselves the question, hey, maybe should I have done something differently? Or I don't know, do men actually have any incentive to have a relationship with me? We don't ask any of these sorts of questions. It's straight to insulting the man. And again, guys, when these women get to 30, It's so funny watching this nonsense because not once in their entire lives have they ever considered what men might be looking for in a long-term relationship, by the way. They make these mistakes over and over and over again. They don't ever realistically stop, and at not one point do they ask what the men might, what the men might be interested in. Let's continue.
Anyway, you are assuming that he's not a narcissist or a psychopath. Then I'm in a stage of grief where I just think about our happy memories from a distance, and my body isn't like feeling like it's gonna kill itself. And rethinking things in a very distant way, like, you know what, that happened. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that person. If he ever comes back, it's okay, but still fuck him and move on with your life. And when I still realize that he's actually pulled away and it's reality that this is happening and this sucks, and I really wanted to go out with him, I get into the stage of grief of anger where I'm just like, I'm better than you. I was always out of your league. You're actually a fucking idiot to fumble me like you are dumb. You are dumb.
And there it is, right? Oh, you didn't want me. So let me get this straight, guys. Let's use modern women's logic for a second. I know it's going to be a little bit painful, but bear with me here. So the logic is, hooks up with a man, the man doesn't want to pursue the woman, and she then copes with it by then saying, well, he doesn't deserve me anyway, I'm better than him. Do you really think that is the correct logic to apply in this situation? Number one, I don't think the dude cares. He obviously doesn't think you're better than him. Otherwise, he probably would have messaged you back or at least opened your messages. Because, again, the wording, guys, that she used earlier, it doesn't even sound like the dudes are even opening her messages after this. But apparently, she's better than the men, right? This is kind of like selling a car. Right, let's just say you're selling a car, okay, and somebody visits you to check out the quality of the car, and then they leave and they don't hit you back up, right? And maybe the person was loaded, okay, and then you're like, wow, this car was obviously it was too good for them, guys. That's the reason why they didn't want to buy their car. It was perfectly, and you know for 100% the car was perfectly within their budget in this story. It's like, maybe the person just wasn't interested in the car that you're offering, But they never consider that. It's always our fault. Always the men who has to do something. Always the man who is deficient in some way. Guys, we're not emotionally intelligent enough to understand this. We're like, all of us are psychopaths, apparently. If you're a man and you don't want to commit to a woman who's like this, shall we say, then apparently you're a psychopath. I didn't know that personally, but let's keep going.
I was always out of your league. You're actually a fucking idiot to fumble me like you are dumb. You are dumb, like you're missing brain cells. Then it gets into delusion, where I'm like, maybe Marisa, you're just so wifeable, which I am. He just didn't know what to do. He couldn't handle that. He wasn't ready for that. And if he doesn't appreciate you and all that you offer, then he's not the one for you. Currently, I'm in a stage where my body is okay. My chest right now has a little thinking it. I'm thinking about him and the song that he introduced me to and the moment we vibed and all that stuff. Just want him to come back. I'm in my begging phase. I'm in my, I don't care, please, to the stars align, and he asked me out, and he texts me and makes the effort. I wake up tomorrow and, he's dead to me now. I mean, so sad, but he's going to be dead to me. Yeah. So this happens often, not that often, maybe a couple times a year where my life feels like it's ending.
Couple of times a year, she says, apparently. I want to make this clear in these stories, by the way, the women in these stories will always be like, yeah, screw that man, I'm better than him, blah, blah, blah. But then what happens the moment he texts her, by the way? What happens? Because the answer to that question is she'll be so excited. She will immediately pick up that message and she will go back to that man and continue as if nothing happened. That's exactly what would happen, guys. A lot of these women, what they do is they essentially just become backups for these attractive dudes on dating applications. The guy won't message them for months at a time. He will hit her up and then she'll still go back and talk to him. She will still make it happen. I've seen this happen, guys, to the point where women have boyfriends and they'll do this stuff, right? They'll get into this situationship where they can't get a relationship out of one particular guy. So then they'll go and get in a relationship with a different guy, but then they'll still sit there and excitedly answer any DM that comes from the man previously. You see what I'm saying? And these are the same women who apparently, at least according to this woman in this video, are wife material. Now, I didn't know this. This is news to me, guys, but apparently these women are wife material. Yes, the ones on TikTok crying over men that won't commit to them, failing totally and utterly at dating. Apparently, these women are wife material to us.
So this happens often, not that often, maybe a couple times a year where my life feels like it's ending, and then I move on. It's serious mourning, okay? Losing a situationship or something that could have been is seriously serious grief, and it ain't for the weak.
Okay, so
before we continue to the next woman here, whose caption, by the way, is "I be stupid," though. So let's just quickly do the math on this. This happens to this woman a couple of times each year, excuse me, she says, right? So 2 times a year. Let's just lowball it and assume that. I actually think that it would be more than that, to be honest with you. But this woman has 2 situationships a year where she is severely attached to the man. She grieves no longer talking to him after he ghosts her ass. So let's just use her math and take what she says at face value here. Over the course of 5 years, she is going to be still attached to 10 different men. So let's do the math on this again. You have her. She starts at 20 years of age. Again, a lot of these women get in situationships before then, but I'm being generous. So she has these situationships at 20 years of age. Fast forward to age 25. She has been with 10 different dudes who she is severely attached to. And now she, for example, starts looking for marriage. Okay, so I'm supposed to marry her. Some simp is supposed to come along and marry this woman. And she is still attached to 10 different dudes. Let me just say this again, guys. You're not going to be lucky number 11 and make it work, because there's always going to be that number 12 at this point. It is too far gone. And let's not even do the math at 30, okay? Let's not even bother ourselves with that particular headache. Let's continue into the next woman crying in her car. This one is titled, "I be stupid," though. Let's take a listen.
I realized something today. I realized that when it comes to dating, I have standards. Like, I find someone, I'm like, oh, you're cute, you know? But then I realized, yeah, they don't meet those standards of dating. But when it comes to actually liking someone, I don't have standards. What is this bullshit?
Yeah, so the translation here is, if the man is attractive enough, all of her standards go out of the window. He doesn't need to take you out on dinner dates. He doesn't need to call you beautiful and all of this sort of nonsense. He will just say, hey, come over, and she will. And that's what I've been saying, guys, is women, they want you to believe that they have standards. You know, my standards are super high. But all that really means is they have a bunch of these standards that they have developed for men who they are not highly attracted to. All of the rules and the things that men apparently have to do go out of the window for the men who are attractive. Now, the dude who she ends up with when she's 30, some simp who's going to come along and marry this, then he has to pay all the bills, he has to do this, he has to do that. And again, by this time, these women have been with so many different dudes, it is actually disgusting. But let's keep going.
Like, I don't know. What do I do? Because, like, I be liking people that are so stupid. And then I'm like, I like you, but I don't want to date you because you don't meet the X, Y, and Z. So I think we're just going to live single forever. Sounds good to me, right? Be fun, though.
Just by the way, she would date these dudes. Oftentimes, I really do think these women want a relationship with these guys. But the problem is they can't get it, so they have to cope with themselves, you know? I do think there's a difference between, you know, when women are seeking long-term relationships, typically they are looking more and more so at your resources, especially as they get older. And as they are younger, it tends to be the other way around. But that being said, I do think that in these situations where you have these women chasing these different dudes, usually they are trying to get relationships out of them, but they can't do it. You know, they fail terribly at getting relationships out of men. And you know, guys, again, you can go out there, you can give the most foolproof advice about what men might want and why these women are single, but they never want to hear it, because any sort of advice, you've got to understand, even if you're trying to help them, to them it's just seen as nothing but criticism, and so they'll just get pissed about it. You know, they'll just get so mad.
I'm not getting back in there. Do y'all not see how contaminated that dating pool is? I can't even swim. I don't know what I was doing in there to begin with. All I know is I found a fish in there that I really like. I can't have it right now though. So I guess I'll take it as a friend fish, just so I can have it. But eventually, that fish will be mine. Eventually. And
yeah, see, women like to play this game where when they are chasing these dudes, just before we continue to the next clip here, they think that eventually they can kind of lock down this particular guy, you know? I'm going to hook up with him a bunch of times and so on and so forth, and one day I will finally be able to get a relationship out of that man. Now, speaking of why men don't want to have relationships with modern women, I thought another good place to start would be this particular video from Manosphere, guys. This woman on the left, who we're about to cover now, she is an OF creator, so she records spicy content of herself. Now, obviously, she doesn't believe in 50-50. The man has to pay for everything. And it's just a complete train wreck, guys. I've been saying this, but, you know, women, oftentimes, they come to the table, as it were, with all of these different stupid demands, and then they cry when the men won't commit to them. So let's jump into this video here, guys. As always, make sure to leave your thoughts and your comments on these clips as we go through. Let's kick it off.
So these 50 men, are these men even real men? Because surely a real man's meant to be a security.
She's talking about real men while she's wearing makeup, fake eyelashes, lip filler, full of tattoos. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, nothing about these women is real, by the way, guys. I mean, how many times do we see these videos and they have so much fake things on their screen that you can't even discern what the person looks like. You know, they have their whole face there, they're sitting right in front of you, and you just have no idea what the hell they look like.
They're meant to be a provider, like they're meant to provide for your woman. The woman's 50 should be keeping the house clean, making your dinner, looking after the kids.
Rule number 22, if your man does not give you a £10,000 allowance for shopping, he's not the one.
But she's talking about 50-50.
So, do you know, obviously I'm single, so I've been dating and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, no way, you're single? I had no idea, but you were giving such great relationship advice. I think a lot of these women actually, like, these are the types of women that are keeping other women single, by the way. This woman is saying that women have to receive a $10,000 allowance during this, and this is coming from an individual who does spicy content online. And if your argument is like, well, I'll cook and clean the house, dudes don't want you because you're an OF creator, by the way. You know what the successful men who have $10,000 a month or whatever, what they're going to do is they're going to just ditch you, and they're just going to hire somebody to clean their house if they really need it cleaned that badly. And oftentimes the men will just clean it by themselves perfectly fine. They don't actually need the woman to be there. It's ridiculous, man. You're an OF creator. Of course you're single. What an absolute shocker, by the way. She's out here giving advice to women on dating as an OF creator who is single. Hilarious.
And the question I keep getting asked is, how much do I earn? Like, I'm sorry, but I think that's rude. Do you not think that's rude?
And why do you think guys ask her that? Because she does only Sims, that's why.
Some men
And just by the way, before we continue on to the next woman here, I mean, you're demanding that men give you $10,000 as an allowance, apparently, as if you're like some sort of kid. And you're offended when people ask how much money you earn. So let me get this straight. You're allowed to have feelings, but the men are not. And you just have a right to their bank account. But the dudes or people in general can't even ask how much you earn. Make that make sense to me, guys. Insane.
tend to forget that one man's trash is another man's treasure, but one woman's trash is every woman's trash. So get it together. I posted a video recently and it honestly got all the men in the comments really angry. All I said in the video was, if you're a guy and you're partying in your late 20s and then you get to 30 and you're like, oh no, I'm broke. And these are the same guys that try and go after the younger girls because once they hit their 30s, a lot of the girls in their 30s are actually taken. Or the women that are in their 30s are independent and financially stable, so they expect expect you to be as well. And these are the same guys that tend to go for the younger girls that not only have a lot of options of men that are successful, but also good looking. Men might say that yes, women have a biological clock, but men sure have a financial clock. And also your sperm doesn't stay good forever. And
That's why I keep telling you guys, stop chasing women, go after money, stay fit, and then when you're over 30, women will come. Believe me, I had way more women over 30 than I did when I was younger. I had to post this video, guys, because this is the funniest video I have seen in a long time.
Just by the way, I agree with Manosphere here. You know, as a man, go out there, earn your money, become successful, and all of these sorts of things. But I will not, I'll tell you this right now. I will not be convinced to do these things in exchange for women like this. You know what I'm saying, guys? If you want to go out there and you want to earn a lot of money and you want to be successful, I think that's great. You know, I'm never sad when I see a dude become successful. I think it's a great thing. Very happy for any dude who becomes successful. Now, what I think is a flawed line of reasoning is that men should become successful. So at the end of the rainbow, at the end of the hard grind, you can get women like this. Now, I understand that, you know, Manosphere is not advocating for dating women like this, obviously. But a lot of guys will look at this and they'll be like, wait a minute, you want me to work really hard? You want me to make all this money in exchange for this? And you get a woman like this who's making this particular video? A lot of guys are going to be like, oh, hell no, man. Hell no. You have this whole list of things that I need to do, and my reward is a woman like this. They're just going to be like, no, thank you. I'm just going to leave Western countries. I'm going to go find a woman elsewhere. If this is what's waiting for dudes at the end of the rainbow, they're just going to go elsewhere, man. They absolutely are. Let's keep going here.
Just listen.
I proper love Chloe. She's not just any girlfriend, she's the best girlfriend.
Olivia.
I think now is the perfect time to tell her what the fortune teller told me and Byron. So you know when I went to Byron, I got like my star sign read where she pulled loads of these cards out like she was playing 21. On the card that she gave me, she said the relation's ready to move to the next step. The card had a moon on, and the moon was that far off from being a full moon. And I said, clicked, this is the next step.
Next step. Oh my God. Is he about to propose?
I want to put it in your ass.
Oh my goodness.
Because we haven't done that yet, and that is the next step for the cock to go in the arse.
Are you joking me? I thought he was about to propose, not try and stick it in me arse. Sam, it's not going in me arse.
Well, the card woman said you're ready for the next step.
I don't care what the card woman said, you're not putting it in me arse.
It was a full moon.
You know what? That guy had me fooled there for a second, by the way. He really did. Going on about cards, I was like, what, is this guy a complete idiot? But no, it turns out, guys, he was playing us the whole time. And again, you know, this is a bit of a joke here. But the whole thing is, really, dudes are not interested in wifing up women nowadays, guys. I think last time, I believe the statistics were mentioned to me, it was something like 6 in 1,000 men. I don't think it's a good idea for men to get married. I think it's a complete scam where you risk everything in order to do it. But yeah, let's keep going.
Of course, this clip is from Love Island, because only there you see people like this.
Since Donald Trump was elected, there has been a surge in women considering going on the men's strike. It's a protest inspired by the South Korean 4B movement, in which women carry out the 4 no's. No marriage with men, no children with men, no dating men, and no sex with men.
I am 100% on board with the 4B movement for the women on the left. Cut that hair. Tie them tubes. Stop reproducing.
I'm just going to come out and say it because I'm tired of hearing people trying to explain away why these poor, disenfranchised young men skewed Republican this election. They like MAGA because they want to go back to the time where they were handed the keys to the castle and a doting wife in exchange for existing. They feel disenfranchised because this is no longer their reality.
Ooh, spoken like a woman that nobody wants to marry. You know, guys, these women are so damn pressed. You know, that they are absolutely so pissed off. They come on TikTok, they make these videos. But no, I encourage you, you know, go on your 4B movement. Go out there, say no to marriage, say no to kids, stop reproducing. And you know what will happen, guys? The world will keep turning because nobody gives a damn and nobody wants to have a relationship with you anyway. I mean, I think it's a great move. I think these women are doing the world a service, to be honest, guys. Every single time I see one of these videos with these women like shaving their heads, I just smile to myself. It absolutely makes my day. But, you know, keep going, madam. Keep going. You're doing a great job.
There are 3 S's to finding love in your 40s.
Dating in your 40s is so different than dating in your 20s, right?
This is the over 40 side of TikTok. Men, my clients included, who are putting that their age range on dating apps is between 20 and 35, and they're in their 50s. Y'all, come on.
Ladies in their 50s are mad at me, and we're going to squash that. You know why they're mad at me? Because I said that after you are 50, I give you permission to chase a man.
But they all try to say to us that the world doesn't exist. Keep telling yourself that.
Please stop spending your money on these women. Taking them on dates, buying them gifts, trying to impress them. They don't like you, okay? And it's a terrible financial mistake.
In my 20s, I dated a super wealthy guy. He had this gorgeous apartment in New York City, and I lived with him. I had it all. I had the dinners, the social group, life, and he dumped me one day. I lost everything. I lost access to all those things. At the time, I didn't have a degree. I didn't have any kind of career. I was young. I was 21, and it pushed me into fight or flight mode. I decided from that point on that knowledge is power. I needed to seek as much knowledge as possible and build a life for myself. So I went into hyper masculinity mode. I built a career for myself, put myself through school. I worked for Apple. I built multiple 8-figure businesses.
And she's still single.
And I love Manosphere's responses to some of these clips, by the way. And see, this is what I'm talking about. This woman on the left right here. You know, again, not once do they ever ask, hey, how could I have kept that relationship together? Or at the very least, what do men actually want out of a relationship with me? Okay, but what ends up happening instead is they're like, yes, I want to be a strong and independent woman. I want to have a fantastic career. And so then they spend decades of their life working on their career, becoming successful. And then, oh, wouldn't you know it? Men don't give a damn still, right? They're still single because once again, guys, men are not looking at your bank accounts. They are not looking at the amount of money you earn or the degree that you have or how much of a boss you are. Men sincerely do not care. If anything, it actually kind of works against you, which is something these girls don't realize. Because oftentimes by this point, the way their personalities work is that they're just incredibly combative, right? It has to be their way or the highway. They won't listen to anything you have to say. All of your directions are completely ignored because they think that they know better. And of course, they're single. You know, of course, all the successful guys have been, I won't say scared away. I think scared is the wrong word. But they don't want to date women like this. All the successful dudes, the attractive men, the guys who have their life together, they don't want to go somewhere where, number one, they're not needed. Number two, they're not appreciated. And number three, they don't want to be with someone who is combative. But we don't talk about that, do we? We have to go straight into insulting the men. If you don't want to commit to a woman, then you lack emotional intelligence. You know, you're a psychopath, or you're a narcissist, and so on. Let's keep going.
Guys that you knew that you practiced witchcraft?
No. And that's the thing. It is so easy to date a witch. It is so easy to be around that energy. It's so easy to go on, you know, especially with online dating, and a lot of people be doing, you know, meeting up. That person, it probably have a whole altar, which I had at my house, a whole altar set up, going out on dates. Don't know really what this person's really about. Especially when they were, especially rings and crystals, that's already a first symbol of any kind of witch, because, you know, they had believed in, at that point, I did too.
That's why I tell you guys, avoid women that believe in all this nonsense and crystals and whatever and chakras and auras. It's not worth it, my guy. It's not worth it.
Yeah, see, I think Manosphere is being really nice here, so I'll just come out and say it. The women who do this stuff are completely psychos. You know, speaking of inaccurately using the word psycho, I'm going to accurately use it here and say that these women who do this are completely psychotic. They're crazy. They are absolutely bananas. You can't build a life with them. You can't have a relationship with them, guys. I mean, if you want to go out there and risk that, I mean, have fun, I guess, guys. But to be honest with you, They are not relationship material, they are not wife material, and they are completely and utterly crazy.
2 screenshots from men that I don't know, from my girlfriends. Both men broke up over text with the same bullshit, generic, "You're such a great girl."
Yeah, because we can't tell you the truth, because if we tell you the truth, you freak out. And we don't want to deal with that. So we like.
Yeah, no dude wants to have their tires slashed. You know, people always say that men are the ones who can't deal with rejection. And I'm sure there are lots of guys who struggle to deal with rejection. But let me tell you something. So many of these girls, it's like if you reject them, they'll go out there and they'll slash your tires. They'll start messaging your family and things like this. I mean, absolutely bonkers.
To you.
You know, I'm so busy in my life and you deserve more than what I'm giving you. And
He's lying. He's lying. He just doesn't like you.
my responsibilities are tying me down. And let me just also note, they're like 25 and 26. They're not like running a hedge fund over here. You know, I feel bad for these girls because they're just like, what did I do wrong? When guys say, I'm so busy, what is that translating to?
Yeah, I'm done with this. That's what it means.
Most women like toxic men.
And you know what? I think that's a fantastic way to end today's video, guys. I actually think, going back here for a second, I think women don't really ask themselves this question of like, what did I do wrong or what could I have done better? I think the knee-jerk reaction is always like they talk to their friends and then their friends tell them that, hey, this man's an a-hole, you can do better. Kind of like the woman at the beginning of today's video. But guys, I think we are going to be leaving it there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.